All right, we have a brand new installation of the latest version of Joomla on a new host with your own domain name ready to roll. And in this tutorial, we're going to take a quick tour of the back end or the control panel of Joomla itself. We call it the administrator panel. And the way that you log into this back end of Joomla, of your Joomla account, is just to open up any browser on any computer in the world. This is the great thing about Joomla. You can update your website just by opening up a browser. And then type in your domain name, your website address. And after you've typed in your address, do a slash and type in administrator. And hit return. And this should take you to your login panel. Now, if your domain name is still not resolving, you'll probably end up at one of these pages, and you'll have to use that temporary URL that you were given in your welcome email. Once you've entered it a couple times, your browser should remember it, especially if you're using Firefox. So just highlight your text at the top there and start typing in a portion of your website or your temporary URL. I think, for example, if I started typing in vivid, yeah, here it shows up here right at the top, and I can just click on that. And you can see I've already been to my administrator panel is showing up there as an extension. So if your domain is still not resolving, just grab hold of that temporary URL and then type slash and administrator, and that will take you to the administration login panel for the back end of your installation. Now, here, the username and password that you enter here is the username and password that you created when you were doing the Joomla installation. And it's important to note that this username and password is not your username and password to log into your cPanel. It's not the username and password for your database. This is a completely separate login information, and it's what you typed in when you were doing the installation of Joomla. Hopefully you wrote it down and are able to plug that information in here now. All right, and here we are at the back end of Joomla. And in this short tutorial, of course, we will not be able to cover everything, but I just want to give you a quick tour and show you a few things that will give you kind of inspiration of how easy it can be to work with Joomla and create a website and to administer it and make changes to it, customize it. And let's see, what should we start with? You'll notice here a lot of icons showing up. We'll call this our dashboard or control panel. And most of these icons are also available up here in these drop-down menus. So for example, add new article. Well, we could also find that under content, article manager, add new article. Category manager. Well, we can find that also under Content, Category Manager. User Manager. Well, if we went up to Users, we'd also find a way to navigate to that control as well. So these are duplicates. I believe that these have been chosen as probably the ones that are used the most, and that's why they show up in a control panel. And if you want to at any time view your site, there's a little link way up here in the top right hand corner. Click on that and you can view your site and notice the changes that you have made. This is the current website that was included with the Joomla installation. You remember we clicked the button that said install sample media. Well, this is the sample media that comes when you click on that button. And you may remember that there are also some sample sites that you can check out. Go to a parks site with sample data, sample images, a blog, that type of thing. So you can get a feel for the types of things that you can add and change very quickly. Let's go back to our control panel. And let's maybe start by making a few changes. Under Site, or even down here under Global Configuration. Under Global Configuration, you can make some sweeping changes to your site. Let's take a look at the first couple of ones here. If you don't like to have people watch or show up at your site while you're making changes or while you're constructing the site, you could shut it off to the public by clicking the little radio button there, and you could also change the message that people see when they show up at your site before it's ready to be seen. Now down here under Default Editor, there aren't too many that come with Joomla installation by default. There are others that are out there that we can plug into Joomla, and perhaps in another tutorial we'll show you where and how to get those and how to get them plugged into your Joomla. And let's go down here under Site Meta Description. This is where you can come up with a sentence or two, maybe a paragraph that describes your site. And this will help the search engines identify the type of site that you have and help people who are interested in your type of information to find you on the internet. And so come up with a good couple of sentences that describe the type of site that you're entering there. And then you can also add keywords that will describe your site. And that way, as people type in words in Google, if they come up with enough keywords that match your site, then you might get a good ranking on Google. So, for example, in my case, since this is going to be a kind of a brochure site of Vivid Media Productions, well, that would probably be my first keyword. Put a comma in between each one, and then just come up with as many words as you can think of that might describe what you're trying to present in your website. And so on. You could probably come up with 50 or 60 great words that identify your site and plug them into your keywords here. Well, we won't take the time to go through everything here in the global configuration in this quick tour, but one thing that you might want to change, and that is your session lifetime. I always find it's frustrating to step away from my computer and come back and find out that I'm logged out of Joomla and have to log back in again because my session lifetime is so short. So I like to change this to 60 minutes, and that should be good. Let's save this. And whenever you're working with a panel in Joomla, it's always good to close out of your work choosing one of these save buttons. If you simply backspace or close out your browser, first of all, you won't save the changes that you made, but secondly, you will leave that panel open in Joomla. And you can come back a week later and find that that panel is still open because you haven't closed it properly. So always remember to close it properly. All right, let's maybe go to the user panel for a moment. Click on User Manager. And right now you probably only have one user registered in your database, and that will be you, the super user. That's what you are right now, is a super user. So click on your super user. And here you can, once it opens up, you can change that to your real name if you like, or anything else. And if you change any of this login and password information, again, be sure and write this down. And because the next time you go to log in, it's going to require the new login name and the new password that you may enter at this point. And it's difficult to retrieve this login and password information. It's not like you can just click on a retrieve password button somewhere and get this information. So it's important that if you make this change that you don't lose this information. For any other user that you have signed up to your site as a administrator, you can easily go in and help them find their password. But it's not so easy to find your own password and change that once you're logged out. Okay, so let's save that. Let's go up to Extensions and take a look at our Template Manager. Now, as you probably are aware, Joomla is a kind of a two-part program. You have a main engine that runs everything, and then you have a variety of third-party extensions that plug into Joomla and make Joomla more functional and give it a lot of capabilities. And there are actually thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of extensions that have been written for Joomla that you can plug into Joomla. And some of these extensions that have been written are actually themes or templates that you can purchase, where somebody who really knows what they're doing with PHP and HTML and cascading style sheets have come up with beautiful looking websites and themes that take care of most of the work for you, and then you can just plug that into Joomla. Some of these templates and extensions are free to the public. They're just done out of the kindness of people's hearts. Other extensions and templates do cost something to license them, to use them. And as you begin to work with Joomla and decide on certain features and functions that you need to work with your program, you will be the one to decide whether or not you want to try and find freebies or pay for licenses to use commercial extensions. By default, Joomla comes with 2 or 3 themes that you can play with here. Right now the default is set on this Bees 2, I believe. We've got the star there. Let's click on that and open up and see that you have a very simple control panel for this theme, for this template. And you are actually allowed to play with it a little bit and make a few changes. For example, let's go over here and look at the logo and see if we can't do something with that to start out our new website. First of all, let's maybe just close this and take a quick look at the way the home page looks currently with the current logo. Just go up and click View Site. And this is the splash screen or the home page of the original site. And up here you see the standard Joomla logo in the website. What we're going to do now is change that out so that we have our own logo. And notice how simple that is. In the template that we're working with that came with Joomla, we simply open it up like we did and go over here to Advanced Options, and you'll see that one of your options is to change the logo. Hit Select, and this will open up what's called the Media Manager of Joomla. And here you can select images that may already be in your images directory, or you can upload from your computer, from your hard drives. Just hit the Browse button, and this brings up a Windows Explorer panel if you're on a PC. And here you can navigate to the hard drive and folder that contains your logos. And here's the one we want. Just double click on it and you'll see that it shows up here. And now you can just click on Start Upload and it will bring that graphic file from your computer and install it up into the server at your host. And so now whenever you need to use that graphic file again, you don't need to go back to your computer. It's going to already be at the server and you can use it in a variety of different ways. Okay, but now we need to do one more step to bring it in. Click on the actual graphic file that you want to use and then go up here and hit Insert. And now we'll see that it's already inserted in the logo area there. And what we can do to check that, to make sure it actually replaced the old Joomla logo, we can hit Save. Now notice you have the option of just hitting Save or Save and Close. The advantage of just hitting Save is that if you want to continue to work with any panel that's open after you've checked the site, when you come back, it'll already be open. You don't have to open that up again. All right, so let's view the site. Go up here and click View Site, and here our logo has been placed in. Now, our logo has come in, but we're still seeing this open source content management tagline showing up from the Joomla logo. So we need to figure out what to do to get rid of that. Let's go back to our control panel, and you can do that just by going up to your browser section and click on the tab And now you're back in the template control panel, ready to see what we can do about changing that. And as I look over here in advanced options, I see that it looks like this is what's doing that right here, the site description. And so we could either just clear that out and leave it blank, or we could add our own tagline if we wanted to. Okay, so let's save that and check our site. Now, you don't have to go up and click View Site every time. Every time you do that, you're going to get another browser instance. It's going to open up another window. If you want to, you can just go up and click on any one of these tabs. But what you'll have to do in doing it that way is refresh your screen. And every browser kind of handles this a little differently. In Firefox, there's a little twisted arrow right at the end of the browser line, and you can just click on that to refresh your browser, and that will make our change. Now, in order to get this logo and tagline working correctly, we'd probably have to go in and modify our logo a little bit. It's a little big, and there's not a lot of space at the bottom of productions. So if we go back and make some modifications to our logo and leave a little bit more white space at the bottom of our productions, we'll be able to have a little bit more room there. And like I say, probably want it a little smaller. But you get an idea of how quickly you can make quite a large change in Joomla. Okay, let's close out of our template manager and move on in our tour. Okay, let's take a look at a few more things with our quick tour here. Let's maybe take a closer look at Media Manager. We looked at it briefly there when we were bringing in our logo. But this is where you can bring in still photographs, graphics, that type of thing from your computer onto your server. And again, when you hit the Browse button, that opens up Windows Explorer, and you can go to your hard drives and find a folder that has some images that you want to upload. And I believe I have some here. And the unfortunate thing with the Media Manager is that you can only bring in one image at a time. And so if you have a large number of images that you want to bring into your website, you're going to want to take a look at using a FTP program. And perhaps in an upcoming tutorial, we'll show you how to get a excellent free FTP program that will allow you to very rapidly bring in hundreds of images all in one drag and drop motion. So, but for now, here we are with Media Manager. We've selected an image. We can start the upload. And there it is showing up in Media Manager. Let's just maybe go after one more. And so you get the idea of how you can bring media from your computer to the server for use in your website using Media Manager. All right, let's go back to Control Panel. I think what I'd like to do before we conclude our tutorial is just show you how you can maybe bring in an article and place it on your website in perhaps a new menu position. Let's go to Article Manager. And when you go into Article Manager, you'll see the whole list of articles here that have shown up, and this is all that sample media that we brought in. When we actually get serious about building our own website, we're going to delete all of these. Now let's leave them in for now and just simply add our new article by clicking on the New button. And let's give the article a title. Let's maybe do an About Us article. And you can leave the next field blank. Joomla will automatically assign an alias to your title. For category, we can simply just leave it under sample data articles. That's fine for now. We'll talk more about categories in another tutorial. And everything else is good here. All right, now this large window here is where you can insert text and pictures, graphics, that type of thing to appear inside your article. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. You could actually use this little text editor that Joomla has supplied us with and just start typing in your text here if you wanted to. But probably the more efficient way is to create your articles, your text, inside a word processing program and then just do a copy-paste and drop them into this window. So let's do that. I've prepared a little article here for the About Us page. So I'll just do a copy and then just drop that into this area here. Now if you want to see more of your text window, you can you notice the little corner here, the bottom right hand corner, it's got the little edge. If you point to that, click down on your mouse and just drag it down, you can open up your window and see more of the text here. If we wanted to add an image, click in the area where you want to add the image so that your cursor is flashing there. Maybe you just open up the little space there by hitting your return key. Now you've got a little space there for an image. Go up to your text editor and click on the little picture of a tree there. And with this particular editor, it doesn't allow you to really go to your media manager, it looks like, or to your hard drive of your computer. They just want you to type in a URL address for your image. Now, because I know the image that I want is already in Media Manager, we can just simply type in images / I believe the image is called franks.jpg. Let's see if this works. Hit insert, and sure enough it shows up. Perhaps in our next tutorial we will deal with extensions, and one of the extensions we'll bring in is a better text editor. It'll be a lot easier than the default text editor that comes with Joomla, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, so now I think that we've got what we want, and we can save this article. Go up and hit save and close. Now that we have our article, we need to figure out a way to bring it into our website. And in order to do that, let's go and actually add a new menu option to our website. Let's go up to menus and go down to main menu, the one that has the star, the default main menu. And let's add a new menu item. Now, in the first field, you're asked, what type of menu item do you want to add? And so hit the select button and you'll be given a list of options there. And we'll talk more about this in another tutorial. But for now, let's just go ahead and select a single article. We've just created that About Us article, and this is what we want to link to from our menu option. So let's just hit single article as our menu type. And you'll notice that things change a little bit over here on the right-hand side. And it's going to ask you to select the article that you want this menu to link to. And so let's scroll down and look for the article that we just created. Oh, here it is right here, About Us. So now we know that this is going to go to that article as soon as someone clicks on this menu option. Let's give the menu option a title. Let's call it About Us. And in this case, I believe everything else is fine, and we can choose Save and Close and go to our website and see if it works. Let's go to Home, refresh our page. Well, we see it wasn't added to the top menu. Let's see if it showed up anywhere else. And looks like, sure enough, down here it is showed up in this little kind of a sub-menu area. Let's click on this and see if we have our article. And sure enough, this is the article that we just created in our text editor. Let's see what we could do about getting that menu option to show up here. Let's go back to our control panel. Let's go up to our menus options here, and this time maybe try top. And this looks like more like what we're looking for. Let's add a new menu item here. And because we already have, well, let's first of all select our single article again as our menu type and choose About Us. And I'm kind of guessing it won't like having two menu titles the same, and so let's just change this a little bit. I think last time we had it a space in between the two. Let's try. And let's save that and see what happens. Go to our website, refresh our browser, and this time our new menu item shows up at the top here. We can click on it and it takes us to our article. So you can get an idea of how quickly you can change menu options, change articles, add images, and really with no HTML experience or knowledge of how to code in PHP or make cascading style sheets, you can actually make a website using Joomla. Okay, well, let's go back to our control panel and see if there's anything else we should maybe point out in our quick tour here. We've talked about adding articles and categories. Categories is kind of the way Joomla organizes your material. If we went into Category Manager, we could see that with the sample data that they have supplied us with, they have done quite an amazing job of organizing that little bit of material. And this makes it easier for people who might follow behind you to find the articles and to make changes to them. And so it's good to have a good organizational plan as you set out to do your website. And using this category system will help you make a good organizational structure to your website. And featured articles, we'll talk about that later. Media Manager we've talked about. Components, we can probably leave that to another time. All right, well, I think that that probably does it for our quick tour. I hope that that gives you a good feel for how easy things can be in Joomla, and that it will encourage you that you can actually build a website using Joomla.